This is an overview of the Peter Vitalie 8-foot Telluride pool table and accessories, piece by piece. And I start with the accessory kit, the American Heritage accessory kit that accompanies this table, and it has the complete ball set. Also 4 of the 57-inch two-piece pool cue, a 48-inch pool cue, and a bridge. Then there is a 2-piece mounting rack, an upper and lower, so that with the recessed mounting hardware on the back, and so you can determine the height that you want for both the lower and the upper. There's also the brushes, the triangle and diamond racks, and the 2 hanging chalk applicators. There's also the original chalk block that we had with the kit, and the mounting pole for that. Mounting spindle, I guess, is a better word for it. Then the olive felt, which is still folded up from its original move, and it was in. We can unfold that, but it is in great shape. The Naugahyde pool cover, and then moving on to mounting hardware, all the original bolts and washers, everything necessary to assemble the pieces back together. All 6 of the leather pockets, 4 corners, 2 sides. Six. So moving on, we come to the accompanying sheet, Game Rules for Pool, which is suitable for framing if you wish, but it just came with the American Heritage accessory kit. So there's that. Now we'll move on to the bumper rails, 6 total, and examine each one, the playing surface with the rubber, and then the exterior of the table. This is rail number 1. Well, honestly, I don't know what order they go in. It was taken apart by Dayton Billiard Company, and hopefully you'll know how to reassemble the table or have someone help with it. This is a second bumper rail. It's the playing surface, and we'll flip it and take a look at the outside. A quick end to end on the other 4 bumper rails. So flipping over a rail, 3rd rail. And playing surface, and again, the rubber's in great shape. Rubber and felt all nice and tight. Exterior surface. Moving on to a 4th rail, playing surface. And the exterior. Fifth rail. And finally, the 6th rail, which also has the Gore Gulch badge on it. Gore Gulch Collection, Peter Vitalie Manufacturing. And the exterior surface of that rail. Now from here, we'll move on around the table to the side rails. We'll flip the first rail up and look at it on the side. So there is, right here, as you can see, a little blemish right at an edge there. And that could potentially be visible when the table's set up. It's, it's minor, half-inch, little touch-up, walnut touch-up would make that disappear. Little blemish at the top, but that is an area that will not be visible once the table is assembled. And on to the second rail, side rail. And again, another minor blemish at the top, but in an area where it would not be visible when the table is assembled. That is both side rails, end to end. And then there is blocking boards that fit up underneath. So those are all the blocking boards that we have that kind of act as interlocking pieces to tie everything together. And then we'll move on to the heavy base legs for the two ends of the table. So unpacking this one, I did discover that there was a minor blemish to this that I guess the movers had done when they put it in storage in our house. As I unwrapped it, I discovered a little, I don't know if they banged something else into it or it just didn't, it got hit on the travel. I'm not sure what happened or how it caused it, but there is, you'll see in just a moment here. You won't see that at the top when assembled, that little spot there, but and those minor blemishes there will most likely not be visible, but this next one possibly could be, but again, it's very minor and small. It is that little spot right there, that not quite the size of a fingertip, where the finish needs to be touched up. So, and a little bit of an indentation. So, and that is all the blemishes on both end pieces with legs, and the rest is just the beautiful walnut finish, heavy wood. And on to the final end. You'll note there is a little nail, looks like a little brad protruding from the end of that foot. The table was delivered new that way and installed that way. And I requested that the installers not hammer it down into there. I was concerned about splitting that wood. So there is that little brad that came to us that way originally, and it's still that way today. So it's something, you know, as it's in transport, you want to be aware that that could scratch or, you know, cause injury to anyone carrying it. You might want to wrap it so that it's concealed. At any rate, the other end, no blemishes besides that protruding brad on the one foot. Everything's just the beautiful walnut finish all the way around both legs. And again, this entire set has been stored in a living room where we intended to set it up. We use a great room as a family room area elsewhere in the house, but we were going to set this up in a living room and just never did. So, and now we move on to the slate. You're looking at the centerpiece right here, and to the left, the first end piece. You can see the two corner pockets along the right side, and then the centerpiece, you see the side pockets. But I'll go through and examine each piece of slate with the wood backing that actually seats down into the table. So both the wood and the 1 1/4 inch slate surface areas are in excellent condition. On this end piece, no chipping or scarring anywhere of the slate surface. We'll look at the other side. Corner's in good shape. So that is one end of the table. Now we'll examine the centerpiece a little more closely. So even though we're looking at a vertical examination top to bottom, it's we're looking at a piece that would be going left to right on the table. And at the very bottom here, there are notches right at the end where the pockets would be, or where these cutouts are, one on each side like that. And when it was originally installed, that's how it was put in. Now, if that's how the original installers had to get it to set everything perfectly. I'm not sure, but when they took the table apart, we were there to examine and watch, and that is how it came apart. So there's a slight notch on either side of this side piece. In the wood only. And then when you look at the slate side, everything is in good condition there, great condition. No chipping, marring, nothing out of order with the slate. And then finally we'll take a look at the other end piece. And this piece has the only blemish right there. There's a minor chipped area. So with all three pieces of slate, this one end piece has a tiny little fracture right at the corner, which would not impact play at all, would not be visible, and would not have any adverse effect on the felt or game play at all. It would be up under a bumper rail. So examining the rest of the perimeter of the slate surface, there are no other blemishes. It's a nice clean edge all the way around. And coming back up from the one side to the other. And that's the slate side. Now we'll take a look at the wood seating surface area. Pull that away from the wall a little bit to get a better look. All the wood firmly attached to the slate on all three pieces, ready to sit down into the table itself. And everything's in great shape. It's an excellent table. And all set to go. Three heavy pieces of slate with the wood surfaces and everything to put it back into play.